assignment is to look at how effective the user interface is on a handheld device. So we just covered a computer system. Now we're going to look at a handheld device. Okay, so I'm going to again switch to one that I've made previously, and I'm going to use that to talk it through. So here is what makes a graphical user interface effective on a handheld device. So you would have to choose which handheld device you want to do it based on. But in my case here, I would suggest using it on a tablet, a mobile phone, yeah, or another handheld device such as a Nintendo Switch or something of that nature. That is a device that we can hold in our hands, but has to have a graphical user interface. Now, so I'm using the Apple version here. I'm talking about Apple mobile phone using iOS, and I'm not talking about the features of iOS. I'm talking about the graphical user interface element. Okay, so what makes a graphical user interface suitable on this particular device? Okay, so just some people get confused about talking about the good features of Android or the good features of iOS. That is not what we're talking about. We are focusing on the graphical user interface. Okay, so that said, some of the points that I mentioned in my case here is that all of the icons are grouped in grids, so it's easy for the user to be able to know how to search for items. Okay. Another thing, of course, is it's going to be similar with every graphical user interface, is that it's got pictures to help the user know what it's about. For example, the weather one here has the picture of a sun and the cloud. Very intuitive, so the user knows, even without having to read the wording, that that's going to be something to do with the weather. Again, the clock one here, it shows very clearly that it's going to be something to do with the clock. A camera, again, very clear that it's to do with the camera. So those things make it very effective in that it's instantly recognizable. So that's some of the points I've made here in my report. Again, I'll expect you to do the same in yours. Another point I'm mentioning here is that you also have a dock on an iOS, and that is at the very bottom of your screen. You have frequently used applications that you can launch quickly. Of course, it's a mobile phone, so phone should be one of the key things that you should be able to do on there. And of course, they recognize that people might want to go on the internet with it, so that icon is there to check your mail and to play music. Of course, another thing you can mention is that these are customizable in the sense that you can then remove items from there and change it. Another thing that makes this effective that I would speak about if I were you, I don't think I wrote it in my document here, but it's the idea that you can group icons into a container. Yeah, so for example, health here is an example of that. So if you have other health applications, you can put all of those into one container, and of course that helps the user to not have an overly cluttered screen. Okay, you could also mention that you could scroll left, yeah, to gain more icons in this case, and that's indicated by the three little dots at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so that would be talking about the graphical user interface on a handheld device. Okay, so I would again pause this here, write your report about what makes a graphical user interface suitable on a handheld device, and then you can come back to this afterwards, and then we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be a domestic appliance. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video here. I suggest you write up what makes a graphical user interface suitable on a handheld device.